What is happening, guys? What's going on YouTube? You guys have tuned into Rules for Rebels and another episode of Weird Products Daily. Hope everybody is having a good Sunday. I apologize, I'm a little bit late in getting today's episode out, about 2 hours late. I normally try to get them out at about 9 o'clock Central Time. And I normally do these in batches, and I just realized that I did the whole week and I left out Sunday. So wanted to knock one out this morning. Today's product is a full face mask, Snorkel Mask. And this thing is actually pretty cool. I've actually had a chance to use one of these actually just recently. I was at my girlfriend's cousin's pool last weekend, and the kids had these, and so I decided to try it out. This is actually, the whole point of this Weird Products Daily series of videos is to kind of get your creative juices flowing, get you thinking about different products that you could sell, different niches that you could delve into, different businesses you could start. And I always say, I think these videos would be helpful to drop shippers. A lot of the products that we cover here are impulse buy type items, are unique items that people haven't seen before, and those type of items tend to do really well with drop shipping. For anybody who's into private labeling, a lot of these products are great in theory but poor in execution. They have, a lot of these products have a great idea but poor YouTube reviews because of quality or something about the design. So I think if you're a private labeler, a lot of times you can look at these reviews, and if everybody's complaining about, like, oh, this piece of plastic is really cheap and cracks, well, maybe you contact an Alibaba supplier, get somebody to make one of these products that, with a stronger piece of plastic or with metal in place of plastic, or like just like make it better quality, roll out your own, and you might have a hot-selling Amazon product on your hands. Now, what's kind of interesting about this product, I bet you a lot of you guys have seen these before. This is something that drop shippers have been going balls to the wall with for the past couple of years. Like, literally every gadget dropship store and every general dropship store that I've seen, every one of them has these full face masks. People are running like Facebook ads and Instagram ads like crazy for these things. And I always kind of thought, like, oh, well, it's interesting looking, but it's probably some like cheap AliExpress, another cheap AliExpress item. And when I got to try one of these the other week, I've done a fair bit of snorkeling. I actually really enjoy snorkeling. Unfortunately, I don't necessarily live in an area that really caters to snorkeling here in Chicago. Like, we got Lake Michigan, but there's not necessarily great areas to snorkel. I actually almost bought a snorkel kit at Costco the other weekend. There's an area in Chicago called, most people don't know about this, it's called Morgan Shoal. And it's right over by the museum. It's maybe 100 yards off the shore. And there was a shipwreck that happened. And so the ship is sunk there. If the water level is low, you can actually see the ship sticking out of the water. If the water level is not low, you can't see it sticking out of the water. But it's really not that deep. And it's a shipwreck that you can swim out there and kind of explore. Some scuba divers go out there. Some people, it's shallow enough that even if you don't have master equipment, you can dive down and see it. But there's also, the whole reason the area is called Morgan Shoal, I guess like millions of years ago, at some point here in Chicago was I don't even know if it was here in Chicago, but essentially it was one of the largest, if not the largest, coral reefs in the world. And I think this is like back before, what do they call that, Pangea, before all the continents broke apart and shifted. But essentially here in Chicago, just off the shore of Lake Michigan, we have what at one time was one of the largest coral reefs in the world. Obviously, like, eventually, and I might be kind of botching the story, but it's something along these lines. The continent split, everything shifted, and now it's basically turned into rock. It's no longer an actual coral reef. It's too, we're in too cold of a climate for it to actually be a live coral reef or whatever. But essentially of the remnants of what at one time was a large coral reef. So a lot of people do go out there and dive. It's supposed to be a really cool area. I actually tried going out there, I think last weekend or 2 weekends ago. I was going to bring my paddleboard out there, and I was going to buy a snorkel mask at Costco and go check it out. I wound up going out to some other beaches, wound up getting lost in the hood, and wound up going to 31st Street Beach for a couple hours instead, and I didn't even buy the mask from Costco. But my point here is I've done a fair bit of snorkeling in like Jamaica and kind of all around the Caribbean. I really like snorkeling. One thing that's kind of like frustrating or a pain in the ass is like you're getting salt water in your mouth, so you're like tasting salt the whole time you're snorkeling. You got to bite on the snorkel and those stupid nubs. You always wind up having a little bit of water kind of leaking into your mouth, and you're kind of like inhaling a little bit of water, like your mask is leaking and you got water going in your eyes and your nose. With this mask, it's basically a full face mask. So it basically goes around your entire face from like your forehead to, just around your ear line, down your chin. so no part of like your mouth, nose, eyes are exposed to the water at all. And I didn't know if this would leak, but it was actually like really, really secure. You don't have to keep those stupid nubs and a snorkel in your mouth. This thing just sits over your face and you just kind of breathe as normal. And you also don't got the snorkel like bobbing trying to fall in the water. This thing sticks straight up out of the water. And just really, really kind of cool device. Like I said, I only used it in a pool. I didn't get a chance to use it in like an ocean or anything like that. But I was actually pretty impressed with it. And I just happened to see one of these on like an Instagram ad the other day. So I said, you know what, let's feature these as one of the weird products daily. So this one I saw on YouTube. On Amazon. There's probably a million different versions of this. This one is called the Dive Luxe. You'll probably find 100 others, with different private label names on them. Here on Amazon as well as like on Alibaba. Like, heck, look at this. So we basically got this exact same thing. Some people have changed the color. Some people have tried to kind of tweak the design a little bit, but essentially it's all the same thing. And it looks like it's actually got some pretty good reviews. Let's see. This was a win. I loved it. My family loves the snorkel, and on a whim, I bought 3 of these for our trip to Jamaica. My husband spent hours happily submerged and engaged with the beautiful island SeaWorld. So many hotel guests wanted to know more about our snorkeling mask, easy to assemble and use. This is another thing, too. I think you can probably snorkel longer with this. I love snorkeling, but after a while, like, you got the salt water going in your mouth and your nose and your eyes, and you're tired of fucking biting on those rubber nubs on the snorkel piece. This just makes the whole experience a lot more comfortable, and I could see, it prolonging the amount of time that you're able to kind of snorkel and see the sights. I waited to review until I had used my mask at least 4 times. When I first tried it snorkeling in Hawaii, I found it somewhat claustrophobic, but on the 3rd try, I calmed down and it was amazing. The clarity and visibility was unmatched. I felt like I was swimming in an aquarium. My husband, who is an avid snorkeler, tried it and said the same thing. That's another thing I didn't feel claustrophobic at all wearing this, but one of my complaints about regular snorkeling is I always find that my mask tends to fog up. And with this, despite you kind of breathing into your eye area, no fog whatsoever. I think maybe it allows... Oh, you know what it is? This is why it doesn't fog up. So the whole thing is self-contained. So whereas normally you got a mask and your mouthpiece or your snorkel is a completely separate thing, the area with your eyes is actually being vented out to the fresh air. So I think that's why it doesn't fog up, which is another big benefit. Let's see. I'm sure this is probably from different from person to person, but this mask did not perform as advertised. It did not seal the sections between your mouth / nose and your eyes. Every time I exhaled, it went straight into my eyes and then started fogging up the viewing area. Also, when water did leak into the mask, it does not really clear easily. I am an experienced diver, and I even started to panic when I came to the surface and water wasn't clearing from the breathing area. The adjustment straps were not easy to use, and it felt like it was constantly adjusting the mask. So that was actually completely opposite from my experience. My experience was that it didn't fog up at all, and I don't know how they say the area between your nose and your mouth. With this mask, there is no area between your nose and your mouth. It's one completely contained area. Let's try to find one more. Change your snorkeling experience forever. Just bought this for my trip and used it to Yelapa, Mexico. I had a poor time snorkeling until now. My mask always gets water in it. I choke on salt water, so that was kind of my complaints. No more. I even sneezed in my mask while snorkeling and nothing happened. I love this. You can talk into the mask, no fog. Breathe, dive, and no issues. I see tons more than normal snorkeling masks. So that was my experience. I absolutely love this thing, and probably the next time I head somewhere where they have snorkeling, I'll probably buy one of these and bring my own. I also saw Costco had kind of a really nice kind of dive set, and they actually had a mount. It wasn't like this; it was the traditional set, but they actually had a mount that attached a GoPro or action cameras to it, which I thought was pretty cool. So maybe we'll cover that on a future video. But yeah, I thought this was interesting. This is a product that I've been seeing for years on a lot of AliExpress dropship stores, and I always kind of thought it was like a chintzy kind of gimmick, and it actually works. I would say my one complaint about it, since I have long hair, and maybe either women or dudes with longer hair should be aware of this, because I have longer hair, the area right around here, that's like right where your ponytail or bun or whatever would go. So I did have a little bit of a hard time getting it here. I just had to be kind of careful putting it on my head and kind of situating my hair with it. That was really my only complaint about it, though. So if you guys have ever tried these, let me know what you think. If any of you guys are drop shippers and, show you some pictures over here. If any of you guys are drop shippers and have sold these, let me know like how sales went. That's kind of cool. So it looks like this does have an area to mount a GoPro to, so that's pretty cool. Anti-leak design, action-mounted camera, comfort straps, anti-fog. This is made to float above the water. Mouse. I don't really get that. Oh, okay, so it looks like they have two sets, so maybe I was wrong. The one guy kind of commented on the area that separates your nose and mouth. In the one that I bought, the entire area was one contained area, so there was no separation between your eyes and your mouth or nose. In this one, it looks like there may be. Yes, this is a little bit different than the one I used, but you guys get the point. Anyhow, that's the weird product of the day. Let me know. Let me know your thoughts. Drop a comment. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, and if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button down below. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll catch you on the next video.